Welcome to the BackPageLead Vidcast, and we're joined again by resident footy guru, dual premiership captain Wayne Carey. How are you? Had a good weekend?
Good.
I'm not going to ask you about what you've been doing this weekend.
That'd be good.
You happy about that? Yeah. Your buddy Nick Riewoldt has made the headlines probably for all the wrong reasons in the last couple of days, simply because I know we've talked about St Kilda ad nauseum, but Nick's form in particular must be of concern to Ross Lyon and the club, because he just can't seem to get in the right spot. He's not taking marks. He looks like he's got the weight of the world on his shoulders. I mean, what's your reading of it?
Yeah, look, I thought when they'd struggled, I don't know about for all the wrong reasons. I mean, he's not playing the best footy. Yeah. I think that he has been playing for some time with the weight, with the world on his shoulders. You can see that he's gut running. He's trying his hardest, and I think maybe that's where I actually made a comment to a friend of mine a couple of days ago that he's probably getting up onto the wings and he really is trying to run his opponent into the ground. I think he can still do that, but still get back to that dangerous position where I think Nick Riewoldt has to get to. We probably should start all that again, should we?
Perils of live TV. No, it's beautiful going live. Yeah.
Okay. Good work, Charlie, and you're the boss. But he's just got to get back to that dangerous spot. We know that's we know that he can lead up. We know that he can take marks up there. Not that he did that on the weekend. He's really struggling in general. But I know they tried him on the wing on the weekend. I'm not sure that's Nick's go either. I don't think he's probably great below his knees. So to play on the wing, maybe when the Saints are going well, no doubt. But look, he's just got to continue to work hard. I still think he's one of the most valuable players in the competition. He's getting double teamed. The fact that the team's struggling as a whole makes it so much more difficult, because opponents know that they can lay off. They're not winning as much of the ball, so therefore they just basically help the other defenders out. So Nick's not just copying his player, and I know this has happened to him before and he's been able to play through it. But when the Saints are in better form, certainly makes it a lot easier on Nick Riewoldt. He'll bounce back, no doubt about it. He is a champion, and I think that he'll be okay. But I think he does have to get back to that playing, or getting back to a dangerous position when the ball's actually kicked there. We know he's a great contested mark. Yep. That's probably gone out of his game a little bit, because he's just trying to run his opponents off his leg. Get back to running with the flight and taking the Nick Riewoldt marks we know that he can take. And
well, just get on that point. We thank the Herald Sun for these stats. He's taken double-figure marks just once in 12 rounds this season. 2 years ago, he took a double-figure tally, 14 games out of the 24, whatever they played. It's a big discrepancy, big disparity. He's been double-teamed all his career.
And that's not just a reflection on Nick Riewoldt. And that's the thing that you have to look into. The whole side struggled. Let's be honest. They've had 4 wins for the year, so the delivery hasn't been as good. They haven't been winning as much ball. All of those things combined, the weight of the world on his shoulders. It is. I have no doubt mentally Nick right now would be struggling, and one of the hardest things as captain is to manufacture that enthusiasm when you're not playing so well. And the one thing that I will say from afar, sitting back watching him, he has done everything right. I mean, he has been exemplary in the way he's gone about his footy. Even when he hasn't, been playing all that well, you see him trying to do those things, and you have to give him a big tick for that, because that is one of the hardest things to do, and I think he's done it.
How hard is it as captain when you're in a form slump, to try and have that positive body language, try and gee the troops up when you have got your hands full trying to get your own game back?
Well, that's basically what I was saying then. I think that he's been very good at that. What can often happen though is players, as when you're not playing well and new players coming into the side, they probably look at you and think, well, hang on, you're not going all that well either. Look, it's a fine line. I think he's doing it. I think he's doing as well as he can do. His body language to me hasn't been poor at all. I know that he'd like to be obviously playing better, but under the circumstances, I think he's held his head high. And like I said, great players, good players, champion players bounce back, and I think he'll do that.
Let's look at the rest of the weekend's footy. A reasonably uneventful round. I think 7 favourites got up and the Kangaroos beating Essendon. They were the only roughie. Did you see any footage of Buddy Franklin's hit on Maverick Weller, the Gold Coast Suns player?
Yeah, look, I'm always a player's man, always stick up for the players, probably just a little bit, I wouldn't even use the word clumsy. He probably, he'll get a week. I think he's got
clumsy.
It's not clumsy. I think he knows what he's doing. But he's got a little bit of that in his game, and there's he hasn't gone out there to try and really hurt anybody. Just one of those things that, unfortunately, in today's footy, he'll get a week. He's got some carryover points, so I dare say he'll be missing
the game against Essendon on Friday night, which is, so they've got Roughhead and perhaps Franklin out as well.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, obviously,
costly, isn't it?
It is costly, and the Bombers not being in fantastic form. You'd like to be getting them right now, but without Roughhead and Franklin, the Bombers have a sneaking chance now.
Yeah. How do you get a read on Melbourne's form? I think they beat Carlton by 47 points.
Well, that's exactly
beaten by Carlton by 47 points. Bagged by everyone. Beat Essendon.
You can't get a read on their form. Simple as that.
Lost to Collingwood by 15 goals.
They would have to be a tipster's nightmare.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, they are that unpredictable. It's well, you wouldn't be picking them this week. That's for sure. But
against Richmond,
no, you wouldn't. I mean, Richmond in pretty good touch. Real interesting game. What Melbourne's going to show up this week after having a good performance, because they've been sort of up and down. I mean, I don't know who I'll tip in that one, to be honest. In actual fact, I'll probably tip Richmond.
Yeah, me too. It's not the sort of form that. I mean, do you think Melbourne can make the finals?
Well, right now, they're in a position to make the finals, yet they've been so inconsistent. So once again, we'll say that, if they beat Richmond, all of a sudden, they're amongst the mix. But for a side that has been comprehensively flogged some weeks and been so poor, they could possibly play finals footy this year if they get over Richmond. In saying that, because we think they might beat Richmond, fair chance they'll get flogged.
They've got a huge injury list too, and we've talked a bit about that in the last few weeks. And yet, they're still on their day. They can really turn it on, and no one would probably want to play them if they got.
They've got some talent. Scully was great. Green was great. I mean, Jack Watts, all of a sudden starting to play some really good footy. They've got some real talent in that side.
Yeah.
Consistent talent this year, no, but. Colin Sylvia's been sort of fairly consistent. They've just been up and down like a yo-yo. So for that reason alone, I think Richmond, for sheer effort on their over the year, you'd be tipping Richmond. And I think Richmond will probably go in as favourites because of that reason.
Now, I went to the North Essendon game, which we touched on at Etihad on Saturday, and I sat among the Essendon fans, and it was fair dinkum like feeding time at the zoo. It was I was surrounded by the hordes, and they'd taken a set against the 3 umpires early in the match, because I think North got a few line ball decisions go their way. I mean, and I heard talkback radio on the way home, and the Essendon fans were queuing up to bag the umpire's performance. I must say, and probably I would say this, that it didn't seem too bad to me. I don't know, did you see the game or?
Yeah, watched the game on TV. Look, I didn't, to be honest with you, I didn't notice the umpires, didn't take too much note of it. I'm sure, like most weeks, the umpires made some mistakes, like most players make mistakes. So I'm it's not bash an umpire segment, this, Charlie, and I'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
You're a big supporter of the umpires, I know that.
Well, I am certainly more now than what I was when I was playing. But no, you do come to the realisation that it would have to be one of the toughest games to umpire, without a doubt. And I think they do a pretty good job most weeks.
Your view on them has changed, and when you were a hot-headed young man, probably in the mid-90s, you had an issue with maybe Darren Goldspink. He wasn't your favourite. He wasn't your best friend.
No, look, and I think that when you watch a game or play a game, and the players will say the same, when you don't notice the umpires, that's generally when they've done a really good job. To be honest, I didn't really notice them when you're watching at home. But when you're there live, obviously you hear the crowd support. I mean, the Bombers have got a lot more supporters than
exactly.
the Kangas, so you know every decision they ride.
Could you count on that one hand how many games they've actually lost you when you've walked off thinking that, you know, those buggers, they've really cost us this week?
No. You go down to one or two decisions. Games played over 120 minutes. I don't think you really look at that too much.
Yeah.
You probably did when you were playing, but not anymore.
Yeah. Kanga's looking good.
Kanga's looking good.
Petrie's a hell of a player, isn't he?
Oh, look, is it Petrie or Petrie?
I don't know. Petrie.
Anyway,
Petrie dish, isn't it?
He's their most valuable player.
Yeah,
without question. I think.
Who'd have Swallow?
Yeah, I think Swallow and Petrie, and obviously Boomer Harvey's still playing some very good footy. But you know, when he stands up and kicking some magnificent goals from the boundary, he doesn't look like missing at the moment. He's been very, very good. And let's not forget, he's missed a lot of footy over the last couple of years. So he's been invaluable. And I think that the Kangas are on a bit of a roll. They may sneak into the 8. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Good.
I think I had them at 8.
I think you did
for the start of the year.
Yeah.
Let's not forget they lost. I think they've lost 3 or 4 games by less than a kick, or just over a kick. I think 8 points may have been one of them. So could quite easily be well entrenched in the 8. They're not, but they're in good form at the moment.
They led 3 or 4 games at 3/4 time. They led West Coast, Brisbane, and Richmond at 3/4 time, and I think lost all games, which is probably an indictment on their fitness. But now, before you go, how's your fitness campaign going?
Mine? Oh, yeah.
You're about to make your comeback.
Oh, no, I'm okay, mate. I'm okay. I don't know whether you've noticed, but for the Ted Whitten game and the squads, as you said before, I think there's Modra, Russell Robinson, Sean Smith and Brett Burton all playing for the All-Stars.
Yeah, I know.
So I don't think they'll want me to run. They'll just want me to stand there so they can jump on my head.
So you're in as the step ladder.
That's you know what, if I'll play my part as captain of that side, if that's what I need to do, that's what I'll do, Charlie.
You got the captain's armband ahead of Jason Ackermanis too.
Is Acker playing, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's my first job as skipper, put Acker on the bench.
Did you catch that, Jason? No, I'm sure you'll have him on the wing, won't you? Right?
Oh, of course. Yeah. I'll tell you what, I'll be friends with Acker because I want him to kick it to me right there.
And, well, you couldn't talk Glenn Jakovich out of retirement? Is he...
Jacko? Yeah. No, I haven't spoken to Jacko about coming out of retirement, but I noticed that he's not in the ssquad.
Oh. It's a good-looking squad, though. A lot of your old Crows teammates there.
Yeah. There's a few guys there that I've played footy with. So
Pikey?
Pikey. Pikey will be BOG after the game.
Wayne Carey, thanks again for your thoughts. Look forward to seeing you next week.
Thanks, Charlie.